This is another one of our family favorites that's kind of evolved out of a bunch of different recipes. We're gonna make some turkey meatballs, some roasted broccoli, and a mushroom cream sauce for over some penne. So Riley and I are gonna get our meatballs out onto our baking sheets, and then we'll prep our broccoli, and they'll cook at the same time. Check out this video if you'd like to see how I make my turkey meatballs. So the most important thing to keep in mind when roasting broccoli is that all of the stems or stalks are about the same size. So in this case, I'm right around a 1/2 inch. And I start by removing the base of the stalk, and you can peel it and chop it up as well, or you can retain it and make a stalk out of it after the fact. And then I break off the outside florets, and I typically just split them in half like this. And then once you get down to the center, you can quarter it, and the insides of the stalks cook a lot faster. So by exposing the inside of the stalk on the biggest florets, they'll cook far more evenly. So we'll get through all of the rest of our heads, and we'll show you what's next. So I've got my 6 heads of broccoli all cut up into even-sized florets, and I'm gonna toss it with some oil, some soy sauce, a little bit of sesame oil, some garlic powder. This says granulated garlic, but this is garlic powder, and some pepper. And we're gonna pop it into a 375 oven. It's gonna cook for about 45 minutes. You might need to look at rotating it, but we'll take a look at that once we get it into the oven. So there's our broccoli on a lined baking sheet, and we're gonna pop this into the oven at 375 for about 45 minutes. So with our meatballs and our broccoli in the oven, we're gonna get started on our sauce for our pasta. So with our butter, we're going to add our onion and our mushrooms, and we'll saute this until all the moisture in the mushrooms are gone before we add our flour. All right, so it's been about 25 minutes and my broccoli is almost done. So I'm just gonna give it a quick flip and mix it up, and we're gonna pop it back into the oven for another 10 minutes or so. After about 15 minutes, all of our liquid is gone from our mushrooms, so I'm gonna add my flour. And once our mushrooms have absorbed all of the flour, we can just add our almond milk. Okay, and as our sauce comes up to a simmer and thickens, I'm going to season it. In this case, I'm going to use a combination of some Worcestershire sauce and pepper instead of salt. So this is one of my back pocket secrets. I keep better than bouillon on hand, both the beef and the chicken flavor. And it's great for things like this where the flavor just isn't quite where I want it. And so I can add a tablespoon of my beef base to my sauce, and it's going to provide a ton of flavor, and it's also going to give us some richness that I wouldn't otherwise have. So we're going to add a tablespoon to our sauce, and then we should be done. So after about 35 minutes with convection on at 375, you can see the broccoli is nice and soft now, but has also caramelized on the bottom from the soy sauce, that sesame and avocado oil. So we're gonna let this cool down a little bit along with our meatballs, and our sauce is done. So we'll heat up some pasta and then we'll be ready for dinner. All right, and there's our completed dish. We've got our pasta with sauce and meatballs and broccoli. This broccoli is a huge favorite of ours. It's super, super tender and has lots of flavor. You can change up the spices to suit the meal that you're doing. It goes well with just about everything. And the sauce has a flavor that's very similar to beef stroganoff, but with turkey, obviously. And it's really, really tasty. Great consistency and goes really well with the meatballs. Hope you guys enjoy.